first. You and I had a bit of a Facebook Messenger conversation about some things that you felt were maybe shifting for you around recruiting and that kind of thing. Or just how comfortable you were feeling approaching people, and you know that you were taking some big leaps of faith and getting out of your comfort zone. So I wondered if you'd be willing to say a few words about that.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Getting out of that comfort zone I think it was easier when I was working, and now that I'm not working, I've pulled back and I'm not as outgoing and talkative as what I maybe used to be. But the big thing is, when you asked us to make a list of people's names came into my mind that were not on Facebook or anything else. That has been a bit of a challenge, because not being on Facebook, they're in essence missing out. So that's where I was kind of pulling in Jacqueline to help me. How do I download? How do I email this stuff? How do I do that sort of thing? So in essence, having done that aspect, then I'm able to reach some of my friends back in Manitoba and things like that. So it was, yes, there's friends on Facebook, but there were only a couple that were interested when I posted on my story. So I kind of had to take a different approach. And when I talked to these people, I used your words, do you trust me? And out of that, 5 of them have come forward. 3 have signed up. And 1's coming over on Monday to sign up. So it's just that those 3 little words, do you trust me? And I said, I just want to show you something. If you're not interested, tell me right now and we'll still remain friends, but I'm not going to push anything on you. And so the one gal that's coming over on Monday, I found it quite interesting, because no, I can't do this. I can't afford it. I'm on a limited pension budget. And I said, that's fine. You know, I gave her 2 products to try. One was the 7-day Plexus Slim Pack, and the other one was Ease. And the reason I gave her that is she has really bad arthritis in her knees. I said, I'm going to give you this, and you are going to take it and then get back to me in the week. Well, that was a week ago yesterday. And she phoned last night, and I said, how's it going? She says, I've been meaning to phone you after the 3rd day. I don't have any more pain in my knees. I can walk. It doesn't hurt, and my knees aren't swollen. She says, I'm coming over on Monday to sign up, and she says, I'll figure out something. So I went, okay. So I think in a lot of ways, yes, you can approach people cold turkey, but we all have friends from the past and everything else. And part of the reason I go back to Manitoba is that's home to me, and that's where most of my friends are. And 3 of them are probably going to come on board when I actually go home and see them in person. 1 already has. So, and that was the thing about Jacqueline saying, oh, you're getting in under the wire. Well, the one girlfriend is like a big sister to me. And she said, I said, are you willing to trust me on something? Because we'd been in Las Vegas and we tried this skincare product or whatever, and we both really liked it, but it's run out. So I said, are you willing to try something else? And she said, since I've had my cataracts done, I really didn't realize how bad my face was. So I said, do you want to try something? And she said, sure. So that was the one that signed up about 9 o'clock that night. And she bought the J-Home sight unseen or anything else. And I hadn't even told her about it until about 5 or 10 minutes before we ended our conversation. And so, you know, it's just that recommunication and retalking, and just the one big thing is listening. Because the gal that's coming over on Monday said both of her daughters are struggling with bowel problems. And I thought, okay, well, let's see where this leads. And so it's that kind of, I would say slow but steady going with people. I'm certainly not going to hit Ruby overnight, but it's that, slow and steady pace. And let's face it, I'm getting older, so it is slow and steady. That's it. Yeah, it's just that, that old drip principle, just drip a little bit here and a little bit there. And, the big thing for me was, do you trust me? So
That's wonderful. And seeing just the difference in the confidence in same as with Jacqueline, right? And even Stella, when you were doing this, when you started, you were like, I don't know anything about this. I've never done this kind of thing. And it is slow and steady. And I agree with you. Like I'm not in a race. I love the idea of building team. I love the idea of building team. I love this. I love what we're doing. And we're building, each building our own confidence and building this at our own pace and growing in the process. And that's what I love. And and not having that pressure on me that I used to feel in the 90s when I was doing this, that it was a race and a competition, and feeling like if I didn't get involved in every single, competition they offered, that I was somehow going to lose out or something. I don't feel any of that anymore. It's just the pace that it is for me, and for each of us it's different and unique, and whatever it is, and it's all good. And I'm open to attracting people who want to run like little rabbits on hormones. I'm okay with that too. Okay, so let's see, Jacqueline, you were going to present something, and I'm not sure who else. Stella, you had a video you wanted to show, right? Was there something, or?
I had one lined up, but we don't need it.
Okay, well, let's see where we go. And Brenda, you were presenting something?
On Edge.
Okay, perfect.
I don't have to do it.
No, let's do it for sure. Let's do that next.
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, Jacqueline first. Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Edge is an energy supplement for mood and concentration and focus. So why would you need a supplement when we are already using, the balance pack, right? And some of us have thrown not having coffee. We don't have that habit anymore. But our bodies need to have energy, without the use of supplements. However, because of our lifestyle, because we're not getting enough of sleep, we're only actually getting 1.5 hours less sleep than our parents did. We're supposed to have 7.5 to 9 hours. Who gets 9 hours, 8 hours, right? So the body's not getting the energy it needs, and we'll see why now. In fact, you're probably aware, if you're listening to people talk, that the one thing that they're always talking is about how tired they are, then that they run out of juice before the end of the day, they feel burned out, they're dragging their feet, they can't wait for the day to be over, right? So there is an energy crisis in that sense. And the energy drink industry has caught up, has seen that, they're quick to it. And they've, of course, been producing energy drinks. Do you know how much they made last year? Have a guess. I'm not waiting for you to tell me. $9.5 billion just from energy drinks. Isn't that amazing? And the reason they can do that as well, and they use caffeine, which is made in the lab, right? So it's synthetic, and it's cheap. So, but it's as we will see, it's not really very good. But what we have, coffee Robusta, we get it. It's a natural bean, and it's not roasted. It's green. And because it's green, it has a higher level of chlorogenic acid. Do you remember where you heard that? That's in Slim. And it's been proven to help with weight loss, with blood sugar metabolism, and high blood pressure. So that's where we get it, from the coffee bean. Now, the other thing that happens is the other ones, they roast the coffee bean. So the chlorogenic acid goes down. You know, there isn't enough, not as much. But because we're using we have a higher level of chlorogenic acid. So now, did you know, this was I really had no idea. Maybe Monique can talk to it a little bit more later on. But they use pure natural caffeine to resuscitate babies. So you see how powerful it is? Not amazing? But it doesn't have, we don't build up a tolerance for it. You know how when you drink coffee, after a little while, you need 4 cups, and before long, a year goes by and you're drinking the whole pot of coffee to get the same effect as 1 cup. You don't have that with Edge. Okay, you may get a little bit jittery when you first start it, but that's just because your body's getting used to it. So there are only 3 ingredients. The other 2, so one is the coffee Robusta. The other 2 ingredients is theocrine, which you get from the kucha tea leaves. Now, this improves your mood, it decreases stress and irritability, and it increases motivation. That is important because motivation comes from the neurotransmitter transmitter dopamine. And this is what we're doing. With this Plexus Edge, we are working on the receptor sites, the dopamine, okay? So it affects the dopamine in your brain. And there are 5 different areas in the brain. And when they're all functioning and firing up really well, it regulates your mood, your sleep, and your cognition. So that's with theocrine, okay? L-theanine, they sound very close, okay? It's a naturally occurring amino acid that's found in green leaf teas, green tea leaves. And it, again, improves your memory and the ability to learn. That's why people who have ADD and ADHD, it's really good for them. They don't actually have to have anything else. They have found that this really, really helps them. So because it has a calming effect, it goes through the blood-brain barrier within 30 minutes. So it's pretty fast. Also, it does not cause adrenal fatigue like coffee does. So, I know I don't have much time, so I'm just going to end with this. There is a contraindication, meaning that you've got to watch out for this one thing when you're having Edge, because it lowers blood pressure. Anybody who has hypotension, means, you know, have a tendency of having low blood pressure, you got to watch your blood pressure. So, you know, that's the contraindication. It's not intended for pregnant women and for women who are breastfeeding, okay? And the timing, you can take it anytime during the day, one capsule. And it's recommended that you take it with food because the body is supposed to be able to metabolize it. In fact, it's better if you have it with food. And the reason being, and you really do need to have a proper meal, food which has fat and carbs. In other words, you don't want to have a protein drink and then have Edge, because the metabolism is taking place through the liver, and liver metabolizes fat, okay, and carbs, okay. And so it will last longer if you do it. I'm not saying it does, you know, you can do it the other way, but the effects of it is not as good. So who's this really, really good for? Anybody that wants, is finding that they don't running out of steam in the middle of the day. It's very good for people like police officers, people who are first responders, come to the, when there's an accident, people who are on night shift. So this will give them the extra energy that they need.
Wow, that's excellent. I thank you so much, Brenda. That's wonderful. And you've really given me some good insight for some things that I wasn't aware of. So my daughter's partner, I gave him some when he was visiting last week or 2 weeks ago, and he took one right then and there in the afternoon, but it wasn't with a meal. He noticed the improvement. He was telling me that he's been diagnosed with narcolepsy. So he has narcolepsy, which is people who fall asleep. It's a neurological problem where people fall asleep during the day. Like they literally just fall asleep. They go through periods of where they can't stay awake and they fall asleep. And so anyway, he every day takes, I think he said 4 or 5 of those energy drinks every day. And he also takes a medication, a pharmaceutical medication that is also to create this alertness. And he was there at my place and he couldn't keep his eyes open. He was so tired. So anyway, he did take one and he noticed, he noticed the effects of it. He said it lasted for about an hour and a half and then it diminished. But again, I gave it to him on an empty stomach, right? He hadn't had anything to eat. So that's really good. And Jacqueline, you have, I wonder if you could share a testimonial about Edge.
Absolutely. I love Edge. It's one of my favorite. Most interesting story is I ordered some and had it delivered to my sister-in-law's place on the island, and with the idea that I was going to pick it up at the end of the month. It's kind of a long story how that happened. But anyway, when it arrived at her door, she thought it was part of her order. So she started taking it. And within a couple of days afterwards, when I was talking to her, she was saying like, wow, that whatever's in that Edge, it's so good. Like, I can't believe how much I'm getting done. And I have way more energy than I used to have. And I thought, gee, maybe I'm going to take it every day because I've been taking it when I want to stay awake. If I'm sitting at a meeting, I'm okay so long as I'm moving. But when I sit down, that's when, everything wants to sit down. And that's when I've been using it. But, and also what Sally was saying about, Sally, you were talking that's become one of your regular ones too, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically, because diabetics are known to have dementia, it's not one of those things that, one person's going to get it and one person's not going to get it. With type 2 diabetes, it's basically about 95% of us will end up with dementia in some form or the other.
Ooh.
So having found that out and knowing that this is something that may stave that off, that's why I've been taking it daily. But I must confess, I wasn't taking it with food. So now I will take it with supper time, because that's when I find that I take it in. If I don't take it in the evening, I'm asleep by 6:30.
Yeah.
So at least if I take it, then I can get something done. So
Yeah.
Then I'll take it with supper instead of taking it about 8 o'clock or so. So yeah.
I didn't have time, and I don't want to do it. This is the whole thing about leaving some things and picking out what I want to say. But because this is all to do with dopamine, and dopamine has a big thing about motivation, that's huge. I would have loved to have brought that in, but for another time.
Brenda,
Yeah.
would you be willing to do that next week then, to continue on and talk about the dopamine and the effects of why it's important? Yeah.
Okay. And then I can also bring in the difference between dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. Is that okay?
Yes.
Would that be okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we have vital biome affects serotonin. Edge affects dopamine, so it would be great just for our own interest to
Very
understand.
interesting.
Yes, I really would
my
like to
God, I
understand
love
the
it. I love
difference
it.
between the Edge and the vital biome
Good.
when it
Yeah.
comes to, it sounds so similar, but obviously it's not. So I'd like to understand that difference.
Yeah,
very
it is very similar, dopamine and serotonin, but there are differences. Yeah.
Yes. And the way the vital biome and the edge work are very different. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Brenda. And Jacqueline, then over to you.
Okay. Well, I could make this a really, really short video, but I decided, well, maybe I should elaborate a little bit. But I decided to put this together, and it only came to me this morning. All this stuff that I've been researching, it sort of all came together this morning, and it's about the 10 top business building preparation strategies. And I put the word preparation in there because this is to switch from a product-driven enterprise, if you wish, to really business building, which is the direction that I'm going in. So basically, I'm doing this for myself. If it has any value for you, that's great. But so like I say, I could have stopped at just number one, and that's setting the intention to become a business builder. So that's what I did just the other day. I launched it out loud in a great big voice while I'm sitting in the car that I want to become a business builder. So that's my job, is to launch the rocket. It's the universe's job to bring it to me. But in the interest of you know, what can I do in the meantime, I put together a list of the top 10. So number one, setting the intention. Number two, it's a close second, and it's actually part of number one, but setting the intention to become fearless. And I've actually put this together in a document, and we'll pass it on to you if you wish, because in a couple of places I've added videos by Plexus people that really target that point, as well as other points. So there will be one under the number two, to become fearless. Building strategy number 3. And this I got from well, not only from the back office, but I was looking for something in the back office about identifying our why. Why are we doing this? And again, there's a video that goes with that, really shifting to the perspective of others. Yes, we're in it for ourselves, but what value can we bring to other people's lives? So that to me is a chunk of the why, and I'm not sure just yet, but I'm going to be talking with Monique about the Feel on Purpose formula and formulating the why, if those maybe could be a bit of a match. Item number 4 is to write out your and know, and really not just know here, but really feel your elevator pitch. What is it that I'll say it for myself? What is it that I'm doing? Why? That's part of the why am I doing this, but what am I doing? So I'm working on that. So far, I've got that I help people improve their financial health through their own home-based business, through building relationships via a super high quality product, which will improve their physical health, possibly even their sleep. That I added just this morning. Thank you, Brenda. Another thing that I came across, so this, like I say, this is as a result of watching a whole bunch of stuff over the last week. And this morning I just sat down and distilled what did I remember from all this. So having cards with samples attached was a big deal for several of the videos that I watched, as well as printed copies of the comp plan and the price list, so that if you're a paper kind of person, having those printed copies right on hand, if phones and things are too slow. Another one, number 6, be on all the training calls, or as many as possible. Number 7, and Sally talked about this morning too, listening to people. So I have been listening to people talk about and dropping health clues. I'm going to expand my hearing into listening for financial clues, listening to people talk about their financial dis-ease or unease or lack of health. Number 8, using social media. and using it properly. I found a Plexus video, again, in the resource library about how to how to effectively use social media specifically for Plexus. And then number 9, oh, I've only got 9. I thought I had 10. Number 9 was listening to diamond testimonials, because these are the people who are there. They are the business builders. So may as well find out what they're doing and what their particular perspective is. If I could just take one more minute, I started a list of top 10 things not to say. Oh my gosh, there's one of them, and you'll hear it if you listen to these videos. Things like, I make money off my customers. That to me just does not sound good. It sounds like you're fleecing them. Next, don't make yourself the hero of the story. Make the other person, make your prospect the hero of their story. Put them at the center of their own story. It's not about you, it's about them.
Jacqueline,
Yes?
can you give an example of what you mean by that, to make them the hero of their own story? What do
Well,
you mean?
any scenario that you're describing, and it could be based on your own experience, but I now have this, I now have that, I have a Plexus, I go on holidays, I go on trips all over the world, and I do all these things. So instead, by listening to the person and finding out what it is that they want, but then imagine how you're going to feel when you are driving your own Lexus, and imagine how you're going to feel when you're on one of the Plexus cruises and whatever else it is they did. So they are already situated in their own story, and they are the hero of their own story. This is the stuff based on Donald Miller, I think is his name. That's all his work is about that. So I'll put that in there too. And the third thing not to say, and some of you have heard me say this before, but I have 10 people underneath me. Oh my gosh, I just cringe when I hear that, because it conjures the image, and maybe it's just for me, of all these people holding me up. These people are underneath me and they're all, holding me up. That's not the image I want to convey. I want to convey, and Monique, you talked about this earlier too, is team. We have, instead of me and 10 people holding me up, we have 11 people in our team, or 13, or however many it is. That's, I don't know, to me it feels nicer. So there you go. If you come across anything not to say, you can send them to me. I'll add them to the list, as well as to the business building tips.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
So good. Jacqueline, I have to tell you, when you're talking, I just feel like I have to stop grinning, because I just feel this permanent grin on my face, because I just cannot get over the fact of this change in you is so remarkable. I swear to God, you look different. You look younger. Do you see it, Stella? Like, it is just remarkable. It's just like this whole thing has happened, and it just is so in alignment with the principles that you and I have spent so many years studying, and well, many of you on this call, but Jacqueline and I personally did it together for many years. We did this work together of launching the Rockets of Desire, of wanting to build our faith muscle and our trust muscle, and believing that the universe has our back and will support us in what it is we want, and seeing Jacqueline put all of these principles into practice in her experience in Plexus, and watching it manifest is just so remarkable. So fun. So fun.
Sometimes as I'm writing this down, knowing that when I say it, you're going to be grinning.
Oh, it just makes me so happy. So I'm wondering, Jacqueline, if for the call next week, if you would be willing to, I don't know, what do you guys think? That piece that she touched on about making people the hero in their story, and how to give us more examples of that and expand on that. Like, would you be willing to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good. I think there's really good stuff, because that's a whole shift in, and speaking to a friend or somebody that you want to invite onto your team, of being able to understand that right from the beginning of the conversation and how that might go. And I think that would be really valuable.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Great, thank you. Okay, so who can see the time? I'm on a different time zone here.
10:30.
32.
Oh, so we've still got we've still got 10 minutes. Yes?
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so Stella, do you want to go ahead with what you had?
Well, mine was, it was just mindset training video that I came across. It's just a fun little 6-minute character. It's not real human being, right?
Yeah.
And even though they referenced it back to children, this little thing is all the power of words, and I found it very impactful. So I thought maybe I could share something like that.
Great, thank you. So you're able to do it through screen share?
Yeah, I'll do it right now then.
Thank you.
Whoopsie, lost it. Okay, there it is. That's what I want to share. And
Good, there it is.
oh, you've got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to play it,
Okay,
and I'm hoping you guys can hear it as well. I'll turn my volume up just to make sure.
now there's no sound yet, Stella. Should there be sound?
Okay.
So when you put your cursor over the bar for the video, let's see if there's a little, oh no, you see the little speaker right underneath the red line? Yeah, let's just click on that. And that mutes it. Okay, unclick it. Yeah, so it'll be a setting on your laptop.
Yeah, so probably. Can you hear that?
No.
Yeah, that shut everything off.
If you can't hear it, we can't hear it.
Yeah. Okay, well, then forget it, because I really have no clue on how to do this volume thing.
Next week, maybe.
Yeah, let's see if we can get it for next week. Okay, all right. Well, is there anyone who wants to add anything? Any questions, comments? Yeah, Jacqueline?
Is that video available on YouTube, Stella? Is that where you got it? Perhaps you could send it to us.
Oh yeah, I could just put it in I don't know if I know how to add it to Facebook, but anyways, I'll figure it, or I'll add it to the Messenger team thing, but I'll figure it out for you.
Okay,
Thanks.
Yeah, just copy and paste the link there, and then we can put it in there. All right, so thanks so much, you guys, for being on the call. And I have recorded this one. Yeah, I'll come to you, Sally. I have recorded this one because I know Irene would really enjoy hearing it as well. She'll be joining us again, I think, next week. And tonight is Tuesday night. So every Tuesday night, there is a Canadian Plexus presentation done by either Darla and Megan, or Darla and Megan and one of the Jewels in Canada. And I believe tonight it is one of Krista's team. So it's one of our teammates that is going to be the special guest who will be speaking. So the link for that, Jacqueline, you have that link on your spreadsheet, right?
For tonight, yes.
Yeah. So if you could post that in our team page, and then I will also post it in the Facebook group itself as well, because anybody you have that you're currently speaking to, Sally, any of your people that are potentially interested or wanting to look at this, that presentation that's done every Tuesday night is geared to that. So it's a very basic overview of Plexus Canada, what's going on, a little bit about the products, and has a different flavor each week depending on which Jewel is doing the presentation. I can't remember her name, but I want to say Melanie Travers, but I'm not sure who. Anyway, I think she's a gold ambassador on Krista's team.
Is that at 5 or 6?
6.
Should be 6.
6 p.m.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, Pacific, 6 p.m. Pacific. Sally, you had a question?
So any of the recordings that we have done with regards to this morning meeting, we can't access them, because part of the thing is I don't write down a lot of information, but I want to pick it back up, and stuff that Brenda has said and different things like that, sort of for my own barrage.
Yeah.
Can we access those or not then? You have to download them all?
Yeah.
Or can we get them just through your site?
Yeah, so I have been recording them, including this one. I pretty much always record them. I don't always do the whole conversion over, but if you guys want them, like if you want this one today, I can do it. And the one from the previous week, I can do them. So I record them and they sit in a file. It's just the process it takes to convert them back and to get them all into a YouTube link and stuff. It's quite a bit of work. I'm happy to do it if people are going to use them. I don't really want to do all that if I'm going to be posting the links and nobody's really particularly using them.
Okay. Yeah, because there's different things that I've written down, and then I go, oh, I should have got more information on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd like it, but.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this one's been recorded, and I will stop the recording this time so that I don't ramble on like I always do. Okay. So anybody else wants to add before we close?
Well, did we want to do the accountability part?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for that. Okay, so I'll kick it off. The accountability piece for me while I'm here in Mexico is continuing with follow-up. I'm still within the 60 days of people, or let me say that differently. People who have enrolled in the previous 60 days are still in that margin of time of while they're trialing the product that they could get their refund back. So I am following up closely with the people that I've personally enrolled and continuing, just checking in on how they're doing with the product and helping them. I've made a few connections with Krista for some people in terms of adjusting things a little bit. And so I want to continue that while I'm here in Mexico. The other thing I haven't had the courage to do, and I'm going to set the intention that that I will feel that the opportunity will present itself and I'll act on it, is I am surrounded in this complex here in Mexico. They're all Canadian. Stella, everybody is from Saskatchewan here. It's hilarious. They're all from Saskatchewan. Most of them could certainly lose some weight. I've seen big diabetic, not diabetic, big edema looking legs, in people that have legs that are full of edema and they just don't look healthy. And I just really have not had the courage to kind of bring it up. So I'm going to be accountable to listening. I'm also I have to get off my own patio and go sit with them. They're all sitting around the pool and they're all very social, and I'm over on my deck looking at them. So I think, okay, I need to channel Stella, and I need to actually go over and sit with them and ask them questions and get to know them, which for me is the thing I have to work on. So that's my piece.
Good for you.
Stella would know everybody by now, and she'd be chatting with them, and oh my goodness, for me, it's like I'm such an observer, right? All right, so, but that's changing. All right, Jacqueline, what's your accountability piece?
For sure, the Donald Miller stuff, and continue inviting and launching that business building thing, and whatever inspiration comes, to act on it.
Great, thank you. And Brenda Lee, anything you want to bring up?
Yes, I actually, off this call, maybe I'll touch base with yourself or Jacqueline. I have a personal friend of mine that is really struggling with weight issues. And I would really very much, I'm very new to the product. I don't have that as my issue, so I don't really know how to speak to that. So perhaps someone can help me with giving a bit of an indication of what I could maybe share with her. She is probably 80 pounds overweight. So it would be and she wants to do something about it. She doesn't know what to do about it. And because I don't have enough knowledge, I'm not sure what to say specifically. But I did really like the piece at the beginning that said, where you said, do you trust me? So I would believe she does. And I do know that she has quite it would make a beautiful story for her if she could resolve this issue with her health. Her family's on her. A lot of people are on her. We're very deeply concerned about her health issues. So I think it'd be lovely if we could address that for her, and she wants to address it as well. And there are 2 other individuals that I want to share some information with as well. But again, I'm still new to the product, still new to everything, and not sure exactly how to bring this forward. So looking for a bit of help.
You know, I love I personally, for me, the approach of 100% honesty and transparency is so effective. And to say to your friend, you know, I'm trialing these products. I know they've got products that are for weight release. I'm not familiar with them at all, but, you know, let me do some checking in and being 100% transparent. Because when we're asking people to trust us, you know, do you trust me when I say to you, I don't know anything about this, but I'm trialing some of the products and I'm hearing and reading, seeing that there are, I mean, you can use me as an example, right? I mean, I've achieved the weight goal I wanted to achieve, broke through a plateau that I was stuck at. But being 100% transparent in talking to the people we want to share this with, rather than feeling that we have to go and become an expert first. And that was, and Brenda, you've been in network marketing before, that was how we were trained in the past. It was kind of like, get all this information, go and fire hose them with all this information, and, you know, either they say yes under pressure or they say no and they want to run away from us. And it really is a different approach now to, I think, to just be 100% transparent, honest. Do you trust me when I say to you, I don't know anything about the weight loss products, but I do know they have some. I'm trialing stuff for a different issue. And, you know, would you like me to get some more information and share it with you and see how that lands? Yep, Jacqueline.
Well, I do see the benefit and power of the 3-way calling, because that just takes me out of the equation. So I very much would like to do that with either yourself or Jacqueline, and take that next step.
Excellent. Very nice.
I was just going to say the other thing that does is by being transparent, it already puts them in the situation that when they start taking the products, they become a member. They're not going to be expected to become an expert overnight, that they have resources and people so that whole duplication thing it's a perfect example right there.
Yeah. And
Can I make a comment on that, having been kind of in that realm a long time ago where I knew I had to lose weight, but I got so sick and tired of everybody trying to tell me I should try this and I should try that. And I took an about face with the few people that I've been working with, and that's kind of maybe where I said, do you trust me? Is I said, I don't want to look at your weight. I don't care about that. I care about you. I want you healthy. And let's start where the grassroots starts, in the gut. How are your bowels doing? And they look at me and say, what do you mean? And so I said, and I bring up my 5 fingers. And I said, let's start here, 5 things. And if this isn't what's happening in your body, then we have to work on that, because nothing's going to work if we don't have the gut first.
What does the 5 fingers thing mean?
Okay, Monique.
Here we go.
So the 5 fingers, if you consider in your bowel that these are your little villi, and if your gut's not working properly, these are filling up with sludge. And as the years go by, they get compacted and compacted and compacted. So we've got to get working on your gut to clean all this out in order for anything else to work. So you've probably taken a million products that nothing's worked. This is why, and I say, that's why it's not working. And I go, your bowel movements have to be fawn colored. They have to float. They have to be fluffy looking. They, I've just forgotten now.
Foot long,
and they have to be from the index finger to the first knuckle on your thumb, that around. If they look like a pencil, you're in trouble. We need to get that clean before we concentrate on anything else. Yeah. And you'd be surprised by people just doing that gut portion. It's not unheard of them to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds just doing that rather than concentrating on their weight.
Okay, interesting.
That's my 2 cents.
Excellent. Well, and you know what, Sally, Brenda's going to continue on with the dopamine stuff next week. The week after that, would you like to do the 10 minutes on the importance of excellent bowel movements?
No, because I'll be on a plane flying to Manitoba.
Okay,
Why
very,
don't you do it next week then? Do
No, that's what I mean. I'll be flying on the plane to Manitoba. So I could do
next
it the
week.
week after.
yeah,
Oh,
so not next week, but 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, that would be great. Yes, because you know what? It all starts in the gut, and that is we are the Healthy Happy Gut Company, or Happy Healthy Gut Company, and that's where it all starts. So it makes sense that we start getting some basic understanding of that. I love that. Jacqueline, can I ask you to follow up with Brenda Lee for what
Absolutely.
she's asking for? Okay, and
Yeah.
Stella?
For my
Thank you.
clarification, what is the definition of a gut? Because to me, a gut is a stomach, but every time I hear the definition of what's going on, we're talking about intestines.
Okay, good. Yeah, great question. So when we're talking about the gut, we are not referring to a belly. The gut is the, so when they're referring to the gut, they're referring to the lining and the health of the intestinal tract, not a belly on a person, right? So if you have an unhealthy intestinal tract, you're likely going to see somebody with a gut. They kind of go hand in hand. But I love what Sally is saying. Rather than focusing on making the gut smaller and focusing on the weight, focusing on internally what's going on. And that's why the balance pack is our best friend up here, right? Getting people on the balance pack, which is stimulating the bowels to start having healthier bowel movements with the bio cleanse, utilizing the pink drink to start balancing things, including hormones, and then also the utilizing the vital biome, which helps to provide what the gut needs to be able to function in a healthy way. But what Sally is saying is, even if you put vital biome into a intestinal tract that is got layers of mucus and caked on stuff, and those little villi fingers aren't able to work and function, and the absorption can't happen, it doesn't matter what you put in the body, it's not going to be absorbed until you get that intestinal lining cleaned out. So that's a great question, Stella. It's not the gut, it's not the belly gut, which is what a lot of people say, I have a fat gut. That's not, but this is the healthy gut is meaning the intestinal tract is working properly.
I have to comment on this because I remember way back when we were doing this, the bigger the belly, the more full of
Yeah,
we had.
it's true. I said that to one of my my new enrollees the other day, and he was talking about something, and I said, wow, you must have been full of shit. And he just he thought that was so funny. But I think I said to him, I always knew you were full of shit, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Kidding around, because I can do that with him. And but he thought that was so funny. But yes, there are people who lose weight simply because they start actually cleansing out the intestinal tract. I think it's the statistic used to be you can hold up to, I think it's like 50 pounds of fecal matter can be held inside the intestinal tract. The intestinal tract is 26 feet long. And that's why I had put the challenge out there to people to do the corn, do the corn test. Eat your corn and see how long it takes for that corn to pass through the intestinal tract. Gives you an idea how long stuff is hanging around inside. I can do that on one of the future calls. All right.
I
So
took your challenge, Monique.
yeah, did you? And what was the outcome for you?
Took 3 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 3 days is 24, 48, what's that, 72 hours? Yeah, 72 hours. So a healthy intestinal tract is anywhere from, 24 to 46 hours for things to pass through. I've eaten corn in the past prior to really focusing on intestinal tract. I could eat corn and it wouldn't come out for 10 days to 2 weeks. I would not see it. No, but I was constipated. I would have a bowel movement once every 7 to 10 days. So that was my life. That was that was my life. So that's just the way, that was totally normal for me. I thought people had bowel movements every day had something wrong with them. Yeah.
I'm done in 8. Corn was gone in 8.
Yeah, that's too fast. So if you're eating corn and you see it come through in 8 hours, that's an indication that your intestinal tract is moving very quickly and that their body doesn't have time to break down the foods properly and to absorb the nutrients from it. So that intestinal tract time, the transit time they call it, for food to travel 26 feet and for your body to get the nutrition out of it is a really important piece of information. And there are people who, they're like ducks. They eat things and they, you know, they poop it out so many hours later, but they're not necessarily absorbing the nutrients. Brenda's shaking her head like way too much information.
No. This is fascinating because I know back in the day we did have conversations, but I've completely forgotten about this. And my head is spinning right now because I'm thinking of a gentleman, a friend of mine who has the reverse opposite problem. He has gut pain, gut problems, and so forth. And whatever he eats goes right through him. And he's lost a tremendous amount of weight. He's just close to 6 feet tall, and he dropped down to 162 pounds, which was really bad in my opinion. And he's now gained 10 pounds, but he struggles putting weight on. And at one time in his life, he went from over 250 to 260, and he just went on a massive reduce and take calories. And he also had a weight problem as well, which he's dealt with. But my thought process is this poor guy probably has a massive gut imbalance, and he's malnourished. So I'm thinking the opposite part of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what he has shared with me quite intimately is he eats stuff that's gone right through him. So there's that aspect of him not being able to absorb any food. He's seeing a naturopath, and they put him on 100 million probiotics a day. I'm thinking, is that like way too much? Like, what exactly? It's like, you know, if I said to him, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know for sure, but if they say milk is good for you, which I don't drink much milk, but I'm using it as an example. If a cup of milk is good for you and you want more calcium, drinking a gallon of milk is supposed to be it's not. I don't think it's better. So my concern is they have him on 100 million probiotics a day. 250 billion probiotics a day. Is that too much? Or
no, those are the kind of numbers, those are the types of numbers you're talking about with probiotics, and the millions and the hundreds of millions and the billions. So the number doesn't really matter. All that matters is the benefit that he gains from it, right? And how much of it he's absorbing, and whether it's doing what it needs to do. So the number itself, especially in Canada or in the US, is meaningless, because it's how much of it is active, how much of it is absorbed, how much stays active in your gut, all of those kinds of things. Is it destroyed by the gut acid when you swallow it? So, I mean, if he's seeing a naturopath, he's probably, getting on the right track. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much, you guys. A great call, and I'll continue enjoying my Mexico vacation here for 3 more weeks.
Okay. People who have not done their accountability piece can email it to me, and I'll put it in the chart.
Oh, okay. Well, Stella, do you have something you want to be accountable to? Sorry, I took that over.
No, I'm just doing like you, follow up on the new people stuff.
Okay, and Brenda Blendenbach, how about you?
I'm doing follow-ups because all things are happening. I'm quite excited. I'm just waiting for things from the back burner to go up. So yay. Yeah, it's quite exciting. I'll have to talk to you about it. We can because you're in Mexico, but I got together with Gurjit, all kinds of things happening.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear how I'd love to see Gurjit on these calls in the future. She knows network marketing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
She's getting there slowly. Yeah.
Okay. And Sally?
Just keep going slow and talking to people. So it's going to be more fun when I go back to Manitoba, because I've got a few things lined up there.
Good. All right. Well, I know those Manitoba people. I've been to Manitoba with you in the 1990s to do meetings on product, and they show up, man. All right. So thank you so much, you guys. And